What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live in a living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time. DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you could have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. You know, I'm a karaoke jock, amongst other things, and I try not to sing at these parties, but sometimes people make me sing. So I'll pull something out of my maybe list of 20 things from the 80s that I really know well. So if you want me to sing at your party, know that it's probably going to be something from the 80s because I come from the 80s and I'm here to help. Speaking of people that come from the 80s and beyond, today on the program, I have Simon Webster, the Reckless Velvet. Who's that? What do you mean you don't know who that is? You better know who that is. And if you don't know who that is, you're going to get to know who that is in the next few minutes. So stick around. This week's shows, I have two public shows this week for your listening pleasure, for your enjoyment. On Thursday from 6 until 9 p.m., I will be at the Old Post Barbecue in Russellville, Arkansas. Yes, the Old Post Barbecue, your favorite place to be on a Thursday night. Delicious barbecue, frosty beverages for the adults. You know, I keep that family friendly, though. I keep the music family friendly, so all ages are welcome at the Old Post Barbecue on Thursday night between 6 and 9. Video dance party, karaoke jam. Yeah, I said karaoke. You're the stars of the show on a Thursday night at the Old Post Barbecue, Russellville, Arkansas. Be there, 6 to 9. And then on Friday night, it's Friday. Come on out to the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. That's the video dance party karaoke jam. Now this one is 21 and over, a little bit different kind of show. That one is from 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the a.m. They got a full bar, the kitchen's open, pool tables. In fact, they got a pool tournament on Friday night. So if you want to try to make some money on a Friday night, I encourage you to check out the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Good people, good fun. Two public shows. Thursday night at the Old Post Barbecue, 6 to 9 p.m., family friendly. And then Friday night at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Not so family friendly. A little bit different kind of show. And then Saturday, I have a wedding. Why did I mention that? Because you're probably not invited. But why did I mention it? Because I'm so excited. Weddings are back. I'm so happy that we're breaking out of this quarantine. I got my shot. Boop, boop. Moderna coursing through my veins. All right, party people, that's enough intro. I think we should get into it with Simon Webster, the Reckless Velvet. Now, I got him on the Skype, so if you're listening to the audio version, I encourage you to check out the video version on my YouTube page, youtube.com/user/KeysDAN, or just look up KeysDAN on YouTube. You'll probably find 3 pages. It's the one with the Radio What logo right there next to KeysDAN. All right, let's get into it with Simon Webster. Skyping Simon Webster now. Almost there, looking good. Simon Webster. Oh, man. All right, once again, KeysDAN here, coming to you live. All right, Simon Webster, I already said you rock, and you do rock. Give the people an idea of who you are, man. So excited.
Oh, thank you kindly for the kind words. Well, I'm a 52-year-old Aussie. Been playing guitar since about 15. Done majority sort of all original sort of music. Played in a original band many years ago, and predominantly can't sing. No, I'm a terrible singer, but play guitar. So a lot of my stuff is primarily, I suppose you could say, rock-based type music, with this few sort of ballads in between there. But with sort of modern technology nowadays, just do a lot of home recording and then collaborate with up-and-coming singers locally and around the world. With all the technology, you don't have to leave the bedroom nowadays. And I've been lucky enough to collaborate with a number of singers and all original. So I'll sort of knock up a bit of a song, lay down guitar tracks, bass track, and then some drums, and then see who wants to put words to it, and then happy to collaborate from there. And then we just upload it to Spotify and all the socials, and just have a bit of fun.
Well, Simon Webster, as a fellow 52-year-old, yeah. I love it, man. That means that we've probably gone along the same lines musically, but I don't usually like to do a lot of research on these. I like them to unfold rather naturally, but I perused your YouTube page. Man, you were making that Les Paul sing. You rock, man. And then I saw you doing an acoustic with a girl named Jenny Stevens, and goodness, the acoustic and the Les Paul electric. You made them both sing, man. You say you don't sing. You say you're not a vocalist, but guitar since 15. Who gave you the first guitar?
It's funny how I actually came about to play guitar, and so initially it was with my mum bought my brother a keyboard, and just a little Casio keyboard, and because he wanted to sort of start playing keyboard and everything like that, and of course, being brothers, I was the older brother. I wanted one too, and at the time, my mum said, "Look, I can't afford another keyboard, but look, you can have that acoustic guitar up there. What about that one?" And it's just a cheapy $40 acoustic guitar, and I sort of cracked it with my mum, and I said, "No, I don't want that. I want the keyboard." And she said, "Well, you can't have it." So we walked out. And walked out of the music store, and then I've just gone, hang on a second. All right, I'll have the guitar. Went back in, and the salesperson did some fantastic licks on this acoustic guitar, and I said, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And bought an easy guitar book to start learning, and then like the old song goes, I played until my fingers bled, basically. So I've just sort of really got into it, and the first song I played was Yankee Doodle Dandy. Was the first sort of, on the first string or first couple of strings, and then sort of from there, and then was really lucky enough to find a really good music teacher locally, and we're playing and learning, and he said, put his guitar, he said, what do you want to learn? And I said, rock and roll. So rather than going through all the theory and everything like that, which bored me to tears, he started showing me some rock and roll licks. So they're basically blues and all that sort of thing. And then, it just sort of really took off from there, really loved the blues. So a lot of my, I suppose you could say rock is essentially around blues-based with a lot of AC/DC influence, and then Guns N' Roses, Led Zeppelin, Stones, Hendrix sort of coming on board from there as well too. So, yeah.
AC/DC, how typical. Yeah, Aussie. No, I guess. All right, you're born and raised in Australia. What part of Australia?
Born in New South Wales originally, but then now residing in Victoria.
See, I don't know geography. Tell me on what part of the island continent is both of those places.
Well, if you're talking about Victoria, so Victoria is right near the little island of Tasmania. So that little poor little bit of land that sits by itself. So Victoria is just basically on top of that. All
right. And then where are you at now?
So living in Geelong. So that's basically just near the coast, south of Melbourne down there. So we're probably about hour and 20 minutes south of Melbourne, and we just lived near the coast. So, yeah, beautiful town, Geelong.
Well, pre-guitar, a young Simon Webster, what kind of trouble do you get into as a young lad? Do you have a bunch of mates that you hang around with? What kind of activities do young boys do in Australia?
Well, to be honest, it was we were pretty good kids. My brother was the lead singer in our band, so we were pretty close. So it was a lot of sort of family time spent, really. So Fishing with my dad. He had a boat, so we used to go fishing a fair bit, all that sort of stuff as well too. Bike rides, all that sort of thing. So we used to go for a lot of bike rides and everything like that. But they were pretty tight family wise, and had some good mates as well too. So and with the music side of things as well too, had some mates who played, that we sort of just bit of a garage band and all that sort of thing. But there was a lot of family stuff, family holidays and all that sort of thing. So on the scale of kids, my brother and I were, we were pretty well behaved.
See, these are good boy activities. I had a younger brother myself. He was 3.5 years my junior, and we used to get in all kinds of trouble. And you being 52 and me being 52, we remember times when kids would go out and play, get on their bicycles and go ride from morning until night, and then come home, and maybe your moms and dads won't know exactly where you were, but they'd have a general proximity, a general idea. And in the next generation, no one goes outside and plays by themselves anymore. What is this? I can't get my kids to go outside and play.
Well, similar thing. I got 6 kids in total, 2 older girls from a previous marriage, and then 4 younger kids. So, we try to balance that sort of stuff. So, yeah, they've got their iPads and all that. So, because that's just part of the nature of the beast nowadays with school and everything. But they get that time, but then, it's outside and play. It's, well, let's go for walks, let's go for bike rides. When I was younger, we used to live with mum and dad. They had a house which had a flat roof. And when mum and dad were out, we used to put a pile of mattresses and cushions on the ground and then jump off the roof onto it.
That is some good, clean activity. Kids, don't jump off your roofs. Please don't jump off your roofs. But that was so much fun, man. I used to live in the woods in the Everglades part of Florida, which is real swampy land. Alligators, snakes. Never got bitten by a snake. Never got bitten by an alligator. Never had any problems out there other than a few minor scrapes and bruises. Kids, you need to go outside and play. Oh my goodness. I remember those days. I mean, did you, you're close to the beach. Were you close to the beach when you were younger? Did you have any beach activities?
We weren't too far from the beach, where we lived. So it was only probably 15, 20, although the beach that we were near wasn't the best of the beaches. So we used to go down to the coast a bit further, and down the coast where we are, we've got some of the beautiful, most beautiful beaches and coastline. Although the water's coming off the Atlantic, so the water's always cold. It's not nice and warm like the tropics, but the coastline's beautiful, and some really, really nice beaches down where we live too.
Well, I've always been fascinated by Australia, and yes, I'm going to be that typical American, Crocodile Dundee. Yes, he put you on the map as far as I'm concerned. I'm a child of the 80s. I love the music of the 80s and the 70s. And, of course, with my mom and dad, they gave me the 50s and 60s. So, I'm a fan of all genres of music. What did you learn from your parents, music-wise, or any lessons from your parents? What did your mom and dad do for a living?
Yeah, so my mum was a nurse, and my father was back in the day was a meat inspector for the Department of Primary Industry, and a lot of the memories were because mum passed away a while ago from MS. She had multiple sclerosis and unfortunately passed away, but a lot of the memories on Saturday mornings, waking up, mum used to have Bruce Springsteen firing away on the stereo. And the Village People of all things, and then, of course, come the shock when you found out later the genre of the Village People. You didn't know that. Yeah. Then you go, it all makes sense. But yeah, Village People, Bruce Springsteen was always sort of played a fair bit with my mum, and Neil Diamond. Mum loved Neil Diamond, so we used to wake up Saturday mornings to all that sort of music. And back in the day when you had the stereo, which was about 4 foot tall. The big old ass stereos back then, blaring away. So, but mum and dad were always good, and dad was always the one that would play a fair bit. Mum was not a big sort of get out and play sort of stuff, if you know what I mean. So mum was a bit more serious, dad was a bit more of the sort of the comedian in the family. But lots of good family holidays and all that sort of stuff as well too. But a lot of the things too, from what I learned from my parents, is a lot of it is just throughout life. Just don't be an idiot, be nice, and if you don't ask, you don't get.
I mean, it sounds like you had a really well-rounded musical education as a younger lad. You know what's funny is my grandfather from Cuba. Okay, he was in the Cuban Navy. Came over here, I think in 1946, just after the war was over, and he asked the American Navy or the American Armed Forces. I don't remember the story exactly, but he asked, "Hey, I came over from Cuba. I was in the Navy over there. Do you need any help?" And he goes, "No, the war's over." And then he went off and got a job at the airport. But one of the things, man, that man, he liked the Village People. There's something about their music that kind of, there's a reason that they were huge in the 70s, is because their music, it gets you going. Plus the fact that we were living in the Florida Keys and they had that song Key West, and that really was a good tune for people in South Florida in the USA. But what did you like about Neil Diamond and the Village People? And what was the other one? The other main?
Bruce Springsteen, and we had a lot of it too was ABBA. We had ABBA playing a fair bit as well. I actually got the chance to see an ABBA concert back at the Sydney Myer Music Bowl here in Australia. I was very little, so I went with my mum, and we were way up the back. I mean, we were way up the back, and basically ABBA looked about this big on stage, and. But no, we went and saw the concert, and I think it was just, as I said, I think it's just the style of the music my parents liked was that sort of, whether it's sort of rock bass or good rhythmic music and so forth. I've got an eclectic taste. I love all styles of different music and so forth, classical music, jazz, and all that. But rock music just always gets me going. I remember when I never really had I suppose you could say a band that I followed when I was young. And then all of a sudden my brother brought home a AC/DC tape, right? He said, "You've got to listen to this." I said, it was Back in Black. And I went,
1980.
Yeah, AC/DC, aren't they heavy metal? We were sort of, heavy metal. And he said, and I remember when, and then Hell's Bells came on, because I think it was the side 2 that he had on. And just the big bell started. I've just gone, oh, wow. And then the guitar lick started coming in, and I just went instantaneously. I said, this is the music. And AC/DC, then I bought all their albums. We just listened to it so much. And then all of a sudden we come across another album. Who's Bon Scott? Who the hell's he? As you find out. And then obviously the original singer and so forth. And then my brother started to sing a bit. He was never a singer by trade, taught himself, and essentially he sang in our Mickey Homicide band. So if you ever check out the YouTube, it's the Mickey Homicide stuff. He was the lead singer. He passed away about 6 years. He got ill. And
your brother?
Yeah, passed away about 6 years ago. He got ill, and he just had a sane voice, all self-taught, and he literally sing anything from Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones, just a remarkable voice, very powerful, strong voice. Used to love playing on stage with him as well too. When he'd be out there belting those songs out, that was good fun.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry about your brother now, and I'm sorry about your mother. That's tragedy. That's definitely tragedy. That they go. Was your brother older or younger than you?
No, younger. He was 3 years younger.
Wow. I couldn't imagine my brother passing away. I mean, was he? Wow. Did you?
Well, it was funny when he did pass away. He had a few alcohol issues and so forth, and battling a few things there. And when he passed away, he was the only one I would write songs with. Him and I'd write the riff, and he'd come up with the song. So then it was. The guitar started to slowly get put away in the cupboard, and I started to lose interest, and I wasn't, and back in the day I had about a lot of the songs that are now up on Spotify I'd written over 20 years ago that I had in my head. And then so then it started, the home recording started. I got a little bit of basic technology and started playing around, and I got the bug. And then we got the bug again, and then discovered BandLab. So BandLab's an amazing platform, all free. It's a platform where musicians can get together online, upload their music, they can collaborate, share it, and there's competitions, and that's where I discovered a lot of my collaborators via BandLab. So I'd put up my music and go, here it is, and people can then add vocals to it or do what they want to it, and that's how I sort of then started collaborating with people in America and the UK, and it's all the way from there was Brazil, Portugal. It's amazing, absolutely, all from the company you own.
Simon Webster, the internet can be used for good. Oh my goodness. Yeah. BandLab. This is the first time I ever hear of it. I know that there's different collaborating softwares, and there's people that use like Smool to do karaoke with people that, maybe a famous person that's gotten to this level in the show business, and then a not so famous person who's at this level can collaborate and sing together. Even if they're not live, you could sing along. Is it kind of that kind of thing where you put out your track and then they sing along with it?
No, so it's not sort of a live type sort of thing, not like sort of TikTok where you can, do that sort of thing. So basically it's an online platform with a online door as well too. So basically you can upload your music, do mixing. It's got its own mastering as well too. This is all free. So as an example, if you're a singer and you're wanting to collaborate with a band, you can just connect with people on BandLab, and like myself. So I write songs. I do all the guitars, the bass, the drums, put it all together with lead breaks. So it's sort of a one-stop shop for singers. If they like my music, then they just go, yep, I'll have riff number 25. Then what happens is then on BandLab, I upload it, then invite them as a collaborator. They drop their vocals, and then what I do then is then I download their vocals to my laptop and do all the mixing using Reaper and so forth on my laptop, and then do all the mastering. I like to use eMastered, which is fantastic because I've got a hearing loss from years of playing music, so that helps me. And then once we've sort of mastered it, and I upload it back up to BandLab to get the singer's approval, so they go, yep, I like it, then we do a 50-50 split through DistroKid. So we upload it through DistroKid to all the Spotify, all the online platforms. So basically through DistroKid, they do the splits automatically, so any royalties come past. You don't make your money. You don't make a lot of money, of course, but it's not about the money. It's about just having fun and making music. And, a singer wants to put their vocals down to my music, I'm wrapped.
Simon Webster, you're giving the people gems. I had never heard of BandLab, and you took us all the way through. I thought, well, maybe you can make a pretty decent demo that you can, maybe distribute or give to, like a record producer or whatever. And you're saying that BandLab will give you the raw materials that you can mix in your own home studio and actually put it out there on DistroKid, and hey, possibly make a couple pennies here and there. I don't know how people are making money in the music business these days. It seems to me that it's all live performances and maybe merchandise. Nobody's really making a lot of money in record sales anymore. Is that what you're feeling?
Yeah. So certainly the market has changed, and the likes of Spotify have been responsible for sort of bastardizing the industry, and devaluing artists' music, because now, there's not much you don't make. Even the superstars don't make a lot on Spotify, and they've got millions of streams. So then you've got other platforms that you try to get out, YouTube and all that sort of stuff as well too. So, look. And Bandcamp is another good platform where people can buy music directly, straight, so you can upload your music you got your profile so people can buy directly off you, and they just take a small percentage, which is good. So you can, sell direct. If you get a good fan base, you can sell directly through there. But yeah, exactly right. It's one of those things where you don't make money on the streaming platforms. The only way to do it is to get out there live and, play gigs and so forth and all that. But, for me, it's one of those things. If I write a song and say, a superstar goes, hey, I want to put vocals to that, you go, great, And the other thing too is, in licensing. So, if you go through the licensing agents to get your songs on ads, movies and so forth, so on the commercials and all that sort of stuff. So that's a good way to try to make money from your music as well, rather than relying on, all the sort of Spotify's. And I'd say, yeah, you're not going to be a millionaire on Spotify.
No, I mean, you're giving, once again, you're giving people gems. This is primarily a learning podcast, and I'm learning from you, Simon Webster. Now, should I be promoting you as the Reckless Velvet? What is the Reckless Velvet?
It was funny when I started on BandLab. I'm not going to put my name up. I was known as Riff Man, so got a bit of a name on BandLab for Riff Man and all that sort of stuff. And then as I started to do a few collaborations and started to, build a little bit of a sort of a fan base or following there, I thought, do a bit of marketing. So Reckless Velvet actually came from one of those random band name websites. So Velvet had in my head, just for whatever reason. So punching a few words, and then it came up with a few different ones. And I actually asked my wife, I said, which one do you like best? And she said, Reckless Velvet. I said, done. There we go. So purely
it's good to have a wife to bounce ideas off of. I mean, you got the name recognition, the Velvet Underground and Reckless Kelly, Reckless Velvet. You could brand that Reckless Velvet and take it to the stratosphere. But yes, stick with Reckless Velvet. Don't change a thing. That's fantastic. From now on, Simon Webster and Reckless Velvet will be synonymous, AKA. So Reckless Velvet is all you.
That's it. It's with my collaborators as well too. As I said, it's the thing I love about it is when you create a song, and a lot of the songs that I've had sit in my head for over 20 years, and when you finally get it down on track, and just recently I was using my keyboard as the bass, using the bass off that, and I just recently bought myself a bass guitar, so I'm sort of teaching myself bass guitar now. And some of the newer tracks I did actually created the riff from the bass, so they're actually bass riffs to start, and then I'll add the guitars, whereas traditionally I do guitars first. So it gives a bit more of a dynamic to the song. And when you do create something and then you get a singer-songwriter who goes, I want to put vocals to that, and then it's like, to me, it's like Christmas time when they're working on it and they go, hey, what do you think? And then you have a first listen, and just amazing what singer-songwriters can change. Because I've written some songs where I've had 3 or 4 different versions to that song, and I've had different vocalists put different words to it. And it's just amazing to get that one song with 3 or 4 different singers singing totally different vocals and melodies over it. And you go, I would never have thought of that. And that's that for me, that's the buzz.
When you say you're writing songs, Simon Webster, you're saying you're writing the music part.
Yeah.
And you're having other artists. Do you ever write the vocals? Do you write or was that primarily your brother's job?
Primarily my brother. I have written a few songs. Never sung though. I'm not a singer, but there was one of the songs that I've got up there was the 2 ones that I have done vocals for, which is I Lost My Pookie. I wrote that one. It's basically it's essentially when kids lose their favourite toys, right? And they start throwing tantrums and everything like that. And I actually had my kids doing the backups on that one. And then I wrote one called the Bogan Song, which is basically here in Australia, bogans are probably similar to trailer park in the States, those sort of people, if that makes sense. So, but the bogans here in Australia are quite harmless, but they're So I did a song called the Bogan Song, which I did both the male and female vocals in it as well too. And it's about he can't find his cigarettes. We call them smokes here in Australia. And there's a bit of profanity on that one, but it's So if you want to check out some of the Australian slang, feel free to check that one out.
Well, I have your Bandcamp up, and those offerings are right there on the bottom of the page. I didn't realize Bandcamp was a place that you could buy music from people. I thought it was a place where the people would give their offerings and maybe use it as a place for a demo. But you have quite a few tracks out there on Bandcamp, and is each one of these photos, is this one song, or are these albums? This is all one song.
So there's with the old band Mickey Homicide, we cut an 8-track album. And back in the day we didn't release it. We just didn't get around to it. So I called it Resurrection. So it's 8 tracks, original tracks. Then I did an EP, which is 4 live songs that we recorded live, which were back in the early 90s. Fractured Masses, we did 10 songs with Sean Sidetrack. And then Gabriel, we did Inside Outside, another 10 tracks as well too. And then I've got a number of singles that we've done. So probably overall, probably got close to 40 original songs that I've done over the course of time.
Now, do you have a traveling band or a band that you work with, or a group of guys that you work with often, or how does that work when you go on stage, or do you go on stage?
Haven't been on stage in a very long time. So it's a lot of the work I've done now is essentially just from home, collaborating on BandLab, then uploading to Spotify. If the opportunity presented itself, I dust off the old Marshall quad box I've still got, which is 30 years old, same as the guitar, the Les Paul. She's 30 years old, and the quad box, the Marshall head blown a valve, so I haven't used that in years, so I'd have to get that fixed. But if the opportunity presented, and probably one of the reasons why I was doing the home recording stuff and then the collaboration via those sort of platforms is, as you know, to get a band started takes such a long time to find the right people, the right musicians, then the time to practice during the week, especially when you're working full time, you've got family, it's very, very time poor. And it's funny actually, I got to that point where I'm starting to do some home recordings, and I wanted to, just before I found BandLab, and I thought I'll put a Facebook post up about trying to hook up with a local singer-songwriter. So if I can find a local singer-songwriter that I sort of work well with, that should be fun. Anyway, so I put a post up, and all I really got were these 60 to 65-year-old cat people who were just, at home, and they got pictures of their cat on Facebooks, and I've just gone, they look like mass murderers. I don't know. I'm just I've got one guy said, I've got a basement and I've got drums and everything. I'm going, yeah, mate, I won't come out alive. Nah. So.
Well, I mean, you've been doing this a long time, since you were 15. Once you get to a certain age, you start to you realize that if you want a family, being out on the road, touring, even around Australia would take you away from your family. And some people don't want to give that up. I think most people don't want to give that up. So maybe a party band that's closer. Maybe you could stay close to town. I know a lot of party bands in this area. They make quite a good living, doing corporate events and weddings, but playing primarily other people's music. Maybe 80-20, 80% other people's and maybe 20% original. But take me back to 15 when you're learning how to play this guitar, and you actually took lessons from somebody. When did you? I'm guessing that you went on stage at some point and showed your wares to some of the folks. When and where did that happen?
So we started. We did sort of our garage band initially. Then we found a very good drummer. My brother started to sing, and he started getting better and better at it. And then we found a bass guitarist and another guitarist. And initially we started out as we called ourselves Prowler. Was our first band name, Prowler. So we did a lot of we just did a lot of covers back then. So we just did a lot of the AC/DC, Rolling Stones, and a bit of Jimi Hendrix, and just good old-fashioned rock.
And your brother could handle the vocals on all those?
Yeah, he as he got better and better, he would nail all those sort of vocals. He used to do Brian Johnson, Bon Scott, Axl Rose. So he nailed it. And then so we, when we did a few covers, we played at a few schools and all that sort of stuff. And then we started to write originals. So my brother and I just started to write. My brother was doing some words, and we started doing that, and that's where we started our first demo tape. A lot of the songs we were writing.
About what year was this?
Early 90s, so about 91, 92. So then we, back in those days, you needed to do a demo tape. You had to go to the pubs and hand your tape to the pub, and so we did a few gigs around Melbourne, not big ones, but we just played a few gigs and so forth, and we just never really, I suppose, pushed it hard as such. We then spent the money and did our proper 8-track CD, which we recorded in the studio back then. So we did it all so forth, but we never promoted it. And when my brother passed away, I thought, actually, what I'm going to do? I'm going to re-release this. So I actually then sort of mixed it a bit and then uploaded it. And we had one of these a music reviewer called this guy called Cynic Spins, and he does free reviews. He's a very harsh critic, so if you he'll be very up and honest about the music, and he does it all free for you. Anyway, so I sent him the demo of our rock album back in the 90s. This is our Mickey Homicide, and I didn't tell him that my brother passed away because I didn't want him to feel sorry. So I wanted a very raw.
Okay, so after Prowler, it became Mickey Homicide?
Yeah, after Prowler, Mickey Homicide came about because of our bass player. He's quite eccentric a little bit, very talented bass player, does a lot of writing, very, very technical bass player as well, and he had this character that he was writing a book about called Mickey Homicide. He was a detective.
Oh.
And we just liked the name, so Mickey Homicide stuck, and then we did that CD, and then just we all got married, had kids, and just didn't sort of do anything from there. And I still keep in touch with the Matt, the bass player, and the drummer a bit. So we just I got Matt onto BandLab, so he's now starting to collaborate with one of the guys that I was hook up with. And this Cynic Spins. I sent the link for our music, and he loved it. So this was sort of in honour of my brother. So he said he loved it. He said one of the songs would have been Song of the Year. He says, I don't understand why this music never got released. And there was so it was real. I was just really wrapped, because if my brother was alive today, he would have been over the moon. So it was in honour of my brother. And then I said, and then when he did the review, I emailed him and said, thanks very much. I said, this was in honour of my brother. He passed away, blah, blah, blah. And he said, so sorry to hear, but yeah, this is a fantastic album. So yeah, that was good to hear of something we did back in 91, 92.
Yeah, well, you got a good, honest review from a good, honest reviewer. It's nice to have someone that can kind of give you a gauge of where you are musically, and if it's somebody that you admire and somebody that you can trust and somebody that you can put your trust, your feeling behind, that you value his opinion, and I'm glad you had that. So, I mean, that's how you keep your brother alive, is putting his music out there. Do you have his music available, or the music of Murder Homicide? No, what was it?
Mickey Homicide.
Mickey Homicide.
Mickey Homicide.
You have it out there?
It's all on my streaming. Yep, it's all on the streaming platform. So it's on the original album is on YouTube. It's 8 tracks, and then we did an EP as well too. The EP is very raw, so it's done. We recorded it live, so it's back in the day we were sort of very, very young, aggressive band. Mickey Homicide is available on the streaming platforms. So if you want to listen to some classics, 90s rock with my brother's powerhouse vocals, check it out.
Well, one of the things I like to do on this program is find turning points, milestones. 15 was a milestone for you when you got there, that first guitar. And then the 90s, another milestone when you made that first record. And then when your brother passed, another milestone. This is when you started to lose interest in even playing music. He thought, well, maybe it's over, and maybe it's all over. So after that milestone, where did you find the love and the strength to come back and play more music, or was it a calling that was beating you in the back of the head saying, get out there, Simon Webster, you got to go be Reckless Velvet? What was it that made you come back?
It was probably a combination of the obviously the lockdowns last year as well too. That's when there were the lockdowns and all that, and I dabbled in a bit of home recording a little while ago, just basic stuff, and then it was just that sort of thing. The Les Paul got shoved away in the garage. I still had the acoustic guitar in the house, and then just started playing the acoustic guitar again, and then the lockdowns. So I said, all right, it was probably a bit of a combination of the itch started again, and I thought, I wouldn't mind, let's just muck around with that sort of thing, and then combination of the lockdowns, and then I discovered Reaper. So Reaper is a fantastic DAW, which I use now. So I do all my stuff through Reaper, and I started to get an understanding of that, and got some found some free guitar VSTs and amps and everything, so I didn't have to use the Marshall. So it's just got myself an audio interface which plugs straight into my laptop, and so I went, oh, hang on a second, I found myself this great drum program which is sounds like real drums, and I went, oh, hang on a second, geez, and started mucking around, and a lot of trial and error, and started laying down a couple of things. And then during the lockdown, it was probably April last year that I discovered BandLab, and I just went, what is this? This is insane. And then all of a sudden, I had put my music up, and then, I had this Sean contacted me and said, he said, oh, can I, and on BandLab you can, when you put your music up, you can allow it to be forked, which is basically you allow anyone to do what they want with the music, so they can either add a track or remix it or put vocals, and then they re-upload it, but then it always traces back to you. So if somebody does a fork, you go, oh, wow. And one of the songs, riffs I put up there was it had over 17,000 plays. So it's sort of then from there I started, my first collaboration was, then I got the bug, so all of a sudden I didn't have to try to find someone local. I didn't have to jam. I didn't have to go through all of that sort of stuff. So with my music, I do all the guitars. I get 2 guitar tracks. I lay the bass guitar, then I'll lay the drums, and then do the lead. So do it all myself. And then, just started getting the bug, and then people are dropping vocals, and I'm going, oh, this is great. And I can't stop now. That's the thing. Now it's just can't stop, and I just created another riff, and one of my, Gabriel, who's in the States, he's going to put some vocals down to it, so that's exciting. And found a Vivian in Nigeria. She's insanely talented. This woman, the amount of music she produces out with the vocals. I remember once I'd created a song, and I uploaded a band. I said, oh, Vivian, did you want to lay some vocals? She said, I love this. Yes, I will. 40 minutes later, she's done a whole song. And I've just brought it down, mixed it up, and put it out. And she wrote a song in 40 minutes, everything. It was just
it is amazing what this internet can do. The first time I heard about that, it was maybe 2 years ago. I talked to another guitarist there in Australia, and he said, oh, my bassist is in the Middle East, my drummer is in Germany, and then I mix it all here in Australia, and bing, bang, boom, you got a hit. That is fantastic. And, some of the guys our age would go, oh, I don't know anything about those computers. I don't know. I just know the old way. You got to move with the times. You got to roll with the changes, as REO Speedwagon used to say. Yeah. Fantastic. I mean, because... yeah, you're listening to AC/DC, and those riffs, those are all analog. Those are, and you're talking about, you start with the bass, and then you add the drum, and then some of your songs, I haven't gotten a chance to listen to your whole catalog. Did you ever do those ones that But they start off with a little bass line, like Sly and the Family Stone used to do. You'd start hearing, tss, 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 and then all of a sudden a bass comes in, and then the guitar comes in, and then all of a sudden you got this big giant band. That's how symphonies are written. Do you have any of that stuff going on, or how is it that you're putting music together now?
Well, it's funny. Music doesn't come to me if I'm driving around, or not like a singer. So a singer can be doing anything. They'll hum something. They go, "Oh, I like that." But for me, the only time songs come to me is when I play the guitar. So if I sit down and I'm just strumming away, I'll just play freely, and all of a sudden I go, "Oh, hang on, I like that." Start playing around, and since now I'm teaching myself the bass guitar, then I'll jump on the bass and have a play around. So traditionally, all my songs have been formed by the guitar initially. So what will happen is I'll plug my guitar into the laptop and get the drum beats going. So I go, all right, well, here's the riff, and I'll plug in a drum beat, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Let me see what that sounds. Move that in, change it. And then the beautiful thing about the software that I've downloaded is that I can mix each of the kit individually. So I can change the EQ to the snare and so forth. So then I'll just start with the riff, and then copy paste, put that on there with the guitar. So when I do the first load of guitar, then I'll record the second load of the guitar, then I'll record the bass, and then mix it all in. Then the lead guitar last, or sometimes it'll be, if it's a bass riff that I've come up with, then I'll do the bass first with the drums, and then lay the guitars over top. And just sort of, it's like mixing a cake or putting a jigsaw puzzle together. And some of the times it's been a challenge where it's just, if you put it down, it's just something's not right. So then I'll ask my friend Matthew, who lives in Melbourne. I'll send him a copy of it. What do you think? He goes, yeah, maybe bring the bass down a bit. So okay, great, excellent, and vice versa. He sent me some stuff, and we sort of bounce it off each other. And if he goes, yep, that sounds good, then I'll sort of upload it or go from there. So it's always good to get some feedback from other musicians on sounds and all that sort of stuff as well too, and especially professionals as well. So I've got some advice for some people about mixing, and by means I'm not a sound engineer at all. But I can do a basic mix that sounds all right. I use eMastered, which does all the mastering for me. So it's upload that, and you can play around with that, and it'll get your sound consistent throughout all the platforms. A sound engineer, of course, that's you won't get a better option. But for me, having fun at home recording, so it's the sound I get out of it is it's listenable. It's not so bad.
Yeah, you put it out there, and it sounds pretty good. The couple of songs that I did get to hear on your YouTube page, the couple of collaborations that you have out there are pretty darn good. If you mix them down yourself, and once again, this is primarily a learning podcast. Once I learn something, I want to shout it out to the rooftops. Like I'll record the audio with Adobe Audition. I'll record the video. The broadcast software is on XSplit. What kind of gear are you using to interface with your computer, and what kind of computer is it? What is it you're plugging into your computer or out of your guitar to get into your computer? Because you can't go from one to the other. There's something in the middle there.
Yeah, so mine's just a HP desktop, so it's just Windows version, and you need a reasonable quality just because of the amount of RAM that you use with music and so forth, and mixing and so forth. You need a reasonable laptop. I use the Scarlett 2i2, which is the audio interface. So Scarlett is a dual interface, which one of the challenges you have is when you're doing audio interfacing to your laptop to be able to plug in something like your guitars and so forth, is you get a lot of lag. So all of a sudden, when you play and then you're trying to record over top of that, it's all out of sync. But luckily with the Scarlett one, and then I readjusted some of the settings on Reaper, and I use Reaper as the mixing, I now get zero lag. Wow. So now what it means is, so when I play something, I can actually hear the playback. So now when I play over something, I can hear what I'm playing in my earphones, and there's no latency whatsoever. I've now got zero latency. So whereas before I was getting latency, it was driving me insane. So once again, YouTube's my best friend. Did some research and found these settings I needed to do. So then, so all I use is audio interface and a laptop and Reaper, and then just all the free plugins that I use. There's free amps in there, so now I can get, it's just amazing, all the stuff out there that you can download for free. So I use a number of different types of amps and so forth to get different sounds, and you can. And then you've got your cabinets as well. So one of the things I found, you've got an amp, but then you'd use your cabinets. So I found this site where you can download hundreds of cabinets, so you can almost replicate any sort of sound. So then you're almost spoiled for choice. It's almost too much.
Yeah.
So all my stuff is done on a laptop and an audio interface and my Les Paul and bass guitar.
Amazing. It's amazing what you can learn on YouTube. There's a lot of kids that are coming out of high school and not going to college. And there's a lot of guidance counselors even recommending don't go to college because you can learn everything on the internet now. You can put yourself through a course of study, particularly in the creative arts, that just watching YouTube pages and even some of this electrical. And it's so amazing what you can learn. I had on this computer that I'm using an MSI. I had a DLL failure. So I went to YouTube real quick and found it in minutes and solved the problem. I didn't have to go to a technician or anything. It's incredible what's out there. You are using the internet for good and collaborating with people all over the world. And do you play any other instruments besides the guitar? Did you ever dabble in that keyboard?
Yeah, so I did the Bogan song has a bit of a keyboard at the end. I did a ballad with Sean. It's a keyboard-based song. So once I was just mucking around on the keyboard, and I'm a guitarist. So I don't know how pianists do two different hands, different things. I can't do it. But I was sitting there playing around with it, and I came up with this little sort of a basic riff on the piano. I went, oh, yeah, I like that. So then I put that through my audio interface, and then created a ballad. And I did. And I contacted Sean. I said, "Oh, do you want to do a ballad?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Here, I've uploaded the song." I said, "I want to do a song called Lost in You." I said, "Yep, leave it with me." So then 2 days later, he's come back and he's written a whole song called Lost in You. And, we wrote a ballad. It was funny. We did a song that was coming up towards getting close to Christmas. And I said to Sean, we need to do a Christmas song. He's gone. We were Skyping, and he goes, "Oh, I don't know about Christmas song." I said, "Yeah, let's do a Christmas song. Let's do it." He goes, all right, we'll do a Christmas song." So I said to him, what key do you prefer to sing in? He goes, "Oh, D." So all right, leave it with me. So anyway, so I'm playing the guitar and I'm come up with a bit of a song. Oh, I like this. So I actually Skyped him. I said, "Can you Skype?" He said, "Yeah, I'm at work, but I can Skype for a minute." So here I am. I'm in my bedroom in Australia. He's over in the States at work, and I've got my phone on my chair there, and I'm playing the guitar riff to him over Skype. And he goes, "I like that." And he goes, so I said, "This is the song. I want you to come up with a song called Jammin' with Santa Claus." Right. So we've got, if you look up on there, we've got the Christmas song is Jammin' with Santa Claus. It's a rock-based song, and Sean nailed it. He wrote these words. The next day, we basically knocked that song out in about 24 hours. I come up with the music. He wrote the words, and Jammin' with Santa Claus. It's a light rock. Basically, the song's about where there's a garage band and Santa's flying over, and he hears the music playing, and Santa stops by to have a jam.
With Sean Sidetrack. That's a great name too. He's here in the States somewhere.
Yeah, he's get me in trouble now. He's out near Atlanta, I think, near Atlanta way.
Well, that's a big music city. I think there's music all over this world, that's for sure. And you say you had a collaboration with a lady that was from where?
So there was Jenny Stevens. She's in the UK.
Okay.
Then there was Vivian Okoye from Nigeria.
That was the one you were just talking about. That's fantastic.
And Leon was in Poland. Then I had a metalhead from Brazil. He had this insane voice, just a cross between Axl Rose and Roy Orbison.
That is a big cross. Roy Orbison and Axl Rose. That is a big cross.
He lacked a little bit control, but if he was able to control his voice, it was insane. It was insane, So wow. And then I just one of the new releases we did was with Twism, TWP, Twism White Peace. We did a collaboration there with one of my metal songs, and he came up with part written with Ed from Twitter. The three of us. So Ed sort of came up with a basis for the song, and then TWP did the rest of the vocals and did our first metal rap mishmash. And it, I Don't Care. The song I Don't Care. I re-released it, remixed it, and it's about essentially what's wrong with the world today. The rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. And it's a kick-ass song. It came out really well.
Yeah, I've had Twism White Peace on this podcast, and he is a fantastic fellow. He's a good guy, and he's a go-getter. He's just putting himself out there and putting himself out there. And that's what you have to do. With this last year where people were stuck indoors, creators were finding new and different ways to create. Now, I'm guessing that you have a day job of sorts that affords you to keep a family, the roof over your head and insurance and food on the plate. And then that affords you to be able to buy that nice equipment that you can make this music. But oh man, when you were playing with Mickey Homicide and even before that with Prowler, did you play a lot of shows or was this primarily recording music and putting it out there to the world?
No, so back in the day, it was a lot of jamming. We played a few gigs.
Yeah.
Nothing major, and it was more for fun. Really just more for fun. We played a few battle of the bands, and then just some pubs and clubs and all that sort of stuff. And then, as I said, life got in the way, and life got in the way, and families, and sort of still, Matt, our bass player, and myself caught up a couple of times. But yeah.
Well,
it was only just last year that things started kicking off again.
Well, you say Simon Webster is a family man now. You've had some collaborations with the kids. What does the wife think of this? Does she get involved with your music at all?
No, she's a good supporter. She said she can't play anything. She said she's not musically inclined at all. So, but it's for me it's a good, just it's certainly not. It's not a hobby, but it's for me. It's just that. I don't know. It's just a buzz when and especially when you look at your Spotify profile and it tells you where your songs have been listened to and heard in Japan and Belgium and all this sort of stuff. And it was really weird. One time that the Bogan song got played over 400 times in 2 days and it shows you where it got played and everything.
Where was it? Do you remember primarily where it was?
It was 2 suburbs of Melbourne. So whether someone accidentally left it on play or something, I don't know. But it was it's just amazing when you see where your music can spread. Whereas back in my day, you couldn't get your music that far.
Yeah.
Farthest you could go was how far you could post your CD or how far you could drive to drop off your your demo to a pub or even submit it to a music company or record company for a review or something like that. So
I remember back in '86 when I was on the radio and even all the way up until the 2000s, people were just giving me music on tape or hey, can you play this on the radio? And I would take a listen to it. And thankfully, I worked in a lot of stations that were mom and pop stations, and they or even college radio when I was first starting. And it was great that they could give it to me, and if I liked it and if it fit the vibe that I was trying to put out there, yeah, I would play it. So more often than not, I would put platters, 12-inch records on that had never been heard before, except for just put them on the air, and maybe the four guys in the dorm rooms would get to hear it, and then maybe they'll tell two friends, and my phone line would light up. Hey, who is that? Where can I get that record? That's my job, is to promote other people. That's our job as humans, is to help other people. That's one of the reasons I got into this business anyway, and now I get to help you. Hopefully a few more people get to know Simon Webster and Reckless Velvet and get the pleasure and the joy that I had listening to those two songs, and then even these other songs that I'm going to have to put in my ears over the next day or two. I definitely have to listen to the Bogan song just because of the picture. And that's one thing I miss about albums, is the album art. Who created all the album art for you here?
I did it all myself. When I say did it myself, it's once again, it's a sort of YouTube. I've sort of come across, and someone was doing YouTube saying Canva, and here in it, I think Canva was created by an Australian entrepreneur, and she, you can do your paid subscription, but Canva has a number of free templates for brochures or catalogs or whatever it is, and it also album covers. And I went, oh, hang on a second. Because when you're uploading to the likes of your distro kids, you have to have an album cover, and it needs to be a certain size and quality, etc. And I come across this free distributor, and I can't remember the name of it, but it kept rejecting my album cover. It was just like, oh, this is too hard. And then found Canva, and yeah, it's fantastic. So you've got all free templates. You can add photos. You can change your text, and it gives you in the right size as well too. So the right sort of CD size, which fits for the pictures and everything. Yeah. So now I just design my own sort of. Yeah, it's very easy, basic. I'm not a designer by any chance, but you can get to play around with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so through Canva, it's all free as well.
Well, one of the things I definitely miss about the digital age is the getting a nice album, opening it up, looking at the liner notes, reading about the artist. It's all out there digitally, because if I look at your Reckless Velvet Bandcamp, it says Australian musician and producer collaborating with local and international up-and-coming singer, songwriters, diverse genre of music styles, influence, soft rock, metal, country, blues, ballads, modern styles. Is that where you want to go with Reckless Velvet? You want to collaborate with people? You want to lay your guitar riffs? Is that the ultimate goal from here on, now that you have the skills that you've been honing since you were 15? And here, now, where does Reckless Velvet go from here?
Well, certainly, and the good thing about the technology now is that providing, my brain's to work, so my hands to work, I can make music. So yeah, certainly the collaborations, I still want to, to be honest, if one of my songs with my collaborators become a hit song, of course, that'd be an absolute buzz. But the fact that people listen to it is enough for me. But also probably on the other end is a bit of my focus is then towards the licensing of the music, towards those music supervisors to try to get my music out on a movie or up on an ad or commercials and all that sort of stuff. So that's also a direction that'd be nice. So if all of a sudden you're sitting down and Nike ad comes up and, your music is on the Nike ad, I mean, that'd be, and for a musician, that's where the potential money is as well too, so that's sort of a focus as well. But yeah, for me, still making music. Anybody who wants to, if they like my music enough and want to put vocals down, I'm happy to work with them for sure.
So all you music directors out there, musical coordinators that are listening, look for Simon Webster and Reckless Velvet and find that perfect song for when the guy gets the girl. Hey. And up comes the music, and your music will be on there. Oh, that would be what a jazz. That would be so fantastic. All right, you've already given a lot of shout outs, and as we wind this thing down, give a few shout outs to the people that have helped you the most along the way, and then we'll close this baby up and let Simon Webster go off to bed, because I know it's very, very Early in wee hours of the morning in Australia right now.
No, it's actually 11 o'clock on Wednesday in the morning, 11 a.m. Wednesday.
Oh, okay. See, I don't know time zones. I'm very bad.
No, I can same here. Same here.
It's 8 p.m. here. But go ahead. Give shout outs to the people that have helped you along the way.
Yeah, certainly. So probably all my collaborators. So Sean Sidetrack, Gabrielle Kankar, Jenny Stevens, Godzilla, Mike with the Godzilla band. We did a YouTube song with that, with the dancing and everything like that.
I was going to ask you about that. What is that Godzilla Boogie Reckless Velvet Dance? Tell the people about that.
So Mike from the States, he's Godzilla blues band. So that's his. So he's a bit older than me, and similar thing. He's done some collaborations with Jenny, and so he wanted to do a worldwide collaboration, and he had this silly song in his head called the Godzilla Boogie. So we got an invite to play guitar and Jenny to do vocals and a saxophone and a pianist. So we all sort of collaborated on this gig. So we uploaded all the music. I did a couple of tracks and he's laid down. I did some lead for him and all that sort of thing. So then he's released the song. And then I've just gone, we should do a video for this. So I uploaded the first. So I just did the bit of a boogie, and then I put the challenge out there on Twitter, and I said, everybody, let's do a 60-second Godzilla boogie. So then Jenny did one, I did one, and then we had a few people obviously putting some videos up to the music, and then he eventually created a music video for it. So with all of our sort of boogies. So yeah, so if you look up the Godzilla Boogie on YouTube, you'll see the video as well too. We're all having a bit of a dance. So it was a bit of fun.
That is a call to action right there. I invite more people to do the Godzilla Boogie with Reckless Velvet. Do that Reckless Velvet dance. That's a nice call to action. And a lot of the most interesting music videos have been made doing just that. Having random people, maybe lip sync your song and you create a video out of that, and you get your fans involved, and that's how you create a community as well, and more fans of the Reckless Velvet. Simon Webster. All right, continue with the shout outs and we'll button this thing up.
No, that's right. So yeah, Jenny Stevens in the UK, Vivian Okoye, Nigeria. Who else we got there? Then we got the Melbourne guys on Twitter as well. We got Lee Thomas, Byron as well too. Storm Sinker, Mary from Brecon Reviews. She does a lot of music reviews. She's been very supportive of all the indies as well. Who else have we got? And I know I'm going to get in trouble because I'll forget, but and also it's just a shout out to anybody and everybody who's just taken the time to come past and have a listen to any of the songs, or who's commented it as well too. It's just a buzz when even one person has a listen to your song and makes a comment as well too. And also Cynic Reviews. So if you ever look up Cynic Reviews as well too, and just all the other indie artists out there as well too, who are just out there putting their necks out and having a crack.
Yeah, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to put your neck out there and say, look, here, I made something for you. Do you like it? Here, would you like some of this? And hopefully somebody says yes. And from what it looks like, you've gotten hit after hit. You've seen the analytics. That gives you instant gratification to get those hits from all over the world, all over this great planet of ours, and people helping people. All right, I don't want this to be the last time that we chat, Simon Webster. As time progresses, when you have something new to promote, as Reckless Velvet or otherwise, whatever next incarnation comes up, I hope it stays Reckless Velvet. And branding, I think, is the wave of the now. Is you have to brand. I'm KeysDAN from the Florida Keys, but here I am in Arkansas. Has nothing to do with keys. But I've been branded KeysDAN for so long, I can't let it go. So Reckless Velvet, I want that to be your branding, your brand. But anyway, I digress.
That's saying, mate, I can guarantee Reckless Velvet's here to stay, mate. So
Oh yeah, your wife put the stamp of approval on there, and that's all you need is approval from the honey. Okay, so I like to close these things off with last words for the people. This could be words to live by, something you heard maybe a long time ago, or a mantra that you wake up with every day, or just whatever pops into your head in this moment in time. Simon Webster, Reckless Velvet, give the last words for the people.
If you don't ask, you don't get. And when you're on your deathbed, when you're going to take your last breath, think about the legacy you want to leave behind.
Well, there you have it, party people. Simon Webster, the Reckless Velvet. Ask for him by name. I found, man, the one-stop shop you really need for Simon Webster is his Linktree. Go to Linktree, linktr.ee/Reckless Velvet. And all his stuff is there. The Bandcamp, the Twitter, the YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, TikTok. In fact, I'm going to put all those links. I'm going to steal them off of that Linktree and put them right on the show notes so you could find out more about Simon Webster, the Reckless Velvet. Reckless Velvet, man, that is a great name. That's a great band name. And it's good for a rock star. You got the Velvet Underground, Reckless Kelly. Yeah, it's got some good name recognition. And yeah, it's been wife approved. Stamp of approval. Fantastic. Good talking to you, Simon Webster. Thank you so much for being on the What Makes You Famous podcast with yours truly. Now, if you, yes, you, I'm talking to you, my loyal listener, if you would like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.